All right, guys, for this example, if you read the notes, then you already understand what I'm talking about with compound interest. You may not understand it in its entirety, but you at least won't be lost when I show you the formula here in a second. So the hint that it's compound interest is that it will always say that it's been compounded by some amount of time in the problem. Okay, if you see that compounded monthly, daily, weekly, some amount of time, you know it's a compound interest problem, and you know you're going to use the compound interest formula, okay, which is what I'm going to go ahead and put down now. So the compound interest formula looks a little different than our typical exponential. So it is the amount I actually wrote it backwards. It is the final amount is your principal times 1 plus r over n to the nt power. Okay? Now, let's talk about what each one of those things is. So A is your final amount. And this also is really only done with money. Okay? Compound interest is really something only done with money. So you are guaranteed that it will be a money problem if it's compound interest. All right? P is your initial amount or principal. R is the rate, and it's almost always given as a percent. And T is the number of years for these problems. And N is the number of times that it's compounded. Okay, so for this problem, we're going to figure out what all those things are, and we're going to plug them in. So we don't know what A is. We do know that our initial amount is $500. We know that the rate at which it's changing is 3%. T is the number of years, and that is also an unknown, right? So we're going to keep our variable here, and we're going to keep our variable here. And N is something we should know because we have two variables, we can graph it. But we can't have three variables. So this is the number of times compounded. That's going to come from this right here. It's the number of times compounded, and I probably should have wrote this, per year. So if it's happening monthly, that's pretty easy to figure out. There are 12 months in a year. That means it's going to happen 12 times. So we plug in all those pieces, and we get 500 times 1 plus, now remember, percent, change it to a decimal, 0.03 over 12. And that N down here and up here is the same thing, 12t. All right, so that's our equation, and I'm going to plug that in the calculator to get some values here real quick, and then we're going to talk about how we want to graph this. So in your calculator, table, clear that up. All right, table, clear. And we got 500, right, parentheses, 1 plus fraction key, 0.03 over 12. And then, make sure you get out from under that fraction before you close it up. And then we got an exponent of 12t. Now, here's the only problem, and we want to make sure we understand this. You cannot type t into this calculator and have it do what you want to do, so you have to replace the t with the x. Okay, basically you use an x and y instead of a and t, but it doesn't matter what the variables are, so it doesn't have any effect. All right, so there's everything. Okay, and now I want to know on a yearly basis, right? So I'm going to start at 0, and then I'm going to keep my step on 1, so I want to know what happens each year. So hit OK. All right, and we're talking about money, so I'm going to kind of round these to decimal places. So we got 0, 500, 1, 5, 15, 21, 2, it's 5, 30, 87, 3, I'm going to stop at 5. Okay, 547.03. 4 is 563. And as you can see, this is going to be a little tricky to graph. So we're going to actually use a program to help us graph it. And I'm going to show you how to do that probably in a secondary video. So I'll call it example 3 part 2. Okay. And then so 580.81. And I want to make sure because I need to show you how to use the program. So that's how you would set it up, get your tables. And again, you could probably graph that and get pretty close to a lot of these. But I'm actually going to show you a program that we're going to use some in class to help you with that. So this will be it for part 1 of example 3. Okay.